Welcome to Doc's D&D Corner and Episode 0, the Lazy Warlock, the character that all others will be compared to. I want to welcome you to my corner of the world. I want to share a little bit about me. My friends call me Doc. I have a PhD, not a medical degree, so please don't send me any of your symptoms. I can't help you with that. I do teach high school and am an adjunct professor in college, so I do like to teach. And what I want to do is I want to teach you a little bit about what I find fun and interesting with the 2024 rules. Now, I've been playing D&D since 1979 in all of its versions, except for 4th. And I am well versed in a lot of the nuances of the game. So I'm going to take and create characters that have interesting themes or based on certain abilities to see if I can make them fun, interesting, and viable for play. So in order to do that, we need to have something to compare all of these future builds to. So that's what you're here for today. I'm going to give you my baseline build. First, I would like to go over some of the basic assumptions that I'm going to do for all of my builds, and I'm going to use the rules that our D&D group uses. Hopefully yours uses something similar. If not, take it into account. Our first assumption is backwards compatibility. Anything rewritten in the 2024 Player's Handbook will use the new rules. Anything that doesn't have new rules will use the older version and may be included in the builds. I will assume that your DM will allow custom backgrounds as now allowed with the 2024 Dungeon Master's Guide. I will also mention the reason I'm picking the backgrounds or the specific parts that I want for each build. I will also not use the spell Conjure Minor Elementals. It is the only spell that's ever been banned at our table. I have a feeling that many tables will ban this until it's changed by some errata. And one of the homebrew rules that I think might make it more usable is just changing the upcast to plus 1d6 every 2 levels to put it more in line with other similar spells. For the baseline, I'm going to pick our Lazy Warlock, and I may actually build this further out. But for right now, this is just the way I calculated the combat damages. All class levels will only be using Warlock. The only required spell to start off with will be level 1 Hex, which we are going to pair with the Eldritch Blast cantrip to be our main damaging spell. At second level, we will add in the invocation Agonizing Blast that allows us to add our charisma to the damage. We are setting up that we have a starting charisma of 17, which gives us a +3 modifier. That is 15 in charisma and +2 from our racial feature going into that stat. At level 4, we'll take the feat Spell Sniper. It removes disadvantage for casting the spell adjacent to an enemy and removes penalties for cover for half and 3/4, and more importantly allows us to bump our charisma to 18, giving us a +4 modifier. And then at level 8, we'll take the ASI to bump our charisma to 20, maxing us out at our +5. Each combat will consist of 5 rounds for purposes of considering it a sustained damage build. There will be 1 short rest between combats and 2 combats between long rest. This number of battles between rests seems to match what goes on at most tables. So if I want to have a build that's going to be considered sustained damage, I expect that they can manage to do everything that we have set up for 5 rounds. This particular one, it's only needing that recast of Hex, and a short rest in between allows us to do that for any of these setups. Combat will look something like this in the Tier 1 gameplay. At the start of each combat, bonus action to cast Hex, and then we're going to hit that opponent with Eldritch Blast every round until down. We can use a bonus action then to move Hex and repeat until we run out of opponents. Starting off at level 1, we will only have one Eldritch Blast. It will be +5 to hit. We will do 1d10 force damage plus 1d6 necrotic damage from Hex. For levels 2 and 3, we have added in the Eldritch Invocation Agonizing Blast, allowing us to add our Charisma, currently +3 to our damage, giving us one attack with +5 to hit, 1d10 plus 3 force plus 1d6 necrotic damage from Hex. At level 4, we've gained +1 to hit due to our bump in Charisma. So our one Eldritch Blast is now +6 to hit, with damage being 1d10 plus 4 force and 1d6 necrotic. Reaching combat tier 2 at level 5, we have picked up a second Eldritch Blast along with our proficiency bonus increasing by 1, giving us 2 Eldritch Blast at +7 to hit, and damage being 1d10 plus 4 force plus 1d6 necrotic. Levels 6 and 7 are exactly the same. At level 8, our Charisma modifier has increased by 1, adding 1 to hit and damage, meaning our 2 Eldritch Blasts now have a +8 to hit, do 1d10 plus 5 plus 1d6 necrotic damage, and that is now the maximum damage that we're going to have per Eldritch Blast. Reaching level 9, our proficiency bonus goes up by 1 again, increasing our to hit to +9. So our 2 Eldritch Blasts are +9 to hit, and we have maxed out our damage at 1d10 plus 5 force plus 1d6 necrotic damage for each blast. Level 10 is more of the same. At tier 3 of combat, level 11, we picked up an additional Eldritch Blast. We now have 3 attacks at +9 to hit, doing 1d10 plus 5 force damage plus 1d6 necrotic. Level 12 is the same, but at level 13, our proficiency bonus increases, giving us now a +10 to hit. 3 attacks +10, 1d10 plus 5 plus 1d6 damage. And that rounds out tier 3. Reaching tier 4 at level 17, we've again gained another attack with Eldritch Blast. We now have 4 attacks at +10 to hit, doing 1d10 plus 5 plus 1d6 damage. This is an average damage versus level for 3 different armor classes: Armor Class 12, Armor Class 16, and Armor Class 20. I took the basic to hit bonus and the average damage per hit to get what is the average damage per round, and that is what is plotted here. You can see jumps at each of the appropriate tiers, and of course it makes sense that Armor Class 12 does more damage than Armor Class 16, which does more damage than Armor Class 20. I'm going to be using Armor Class 16 in all of our future builds for comparisons. And here the average damage at our tier 4 is around 47 points. So keep this in mind when you're looking at future builds. Be a little bit more damage if it's a lower armor class, a little bit less if it's a higher armor class. Like, subscribe, and again, thanks for joining me here in Doc's D&D Corner. Continue watching this channel if you want to see more builds like this. I'm going to be trying to put out 1 a week. I'm not counting this one because I have episode 1, the Gallivant and Goliath, a Warlock build that likes to be all over the battlefield for you to see, so tune into that one. And again, thanks for watching.